Pat, if you would please join us on the stage. Pat Hyman was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He graduated with a major in business from UC Berkeley. After college, Pat enlisted in the U.S. Army and while on inactive service, joined Sperry, a manufacturer of anti-aircraft equipment. As a field engineer, working with U.S., British, and Canadian troops around the world, Pat went on to pioneer the automotive and equipment leasing industry with his own San Diego company, first known as San Diego Auto Leasing and later PhD. In 1970, Pat was invited to join TEC, the executive committee, which is now Vistage International. He was named TEC's head of marketing and later was named TEC president, where he served for 5 years and oversaw the organization's continual growth. Pat was later named the TEC chairman of the board, and TEC, again, which is now Vistage International. Pat currently leads 2 chief executive groups and has achieved legendary status among the select community of Vistage chairs. Pat was a founding board member of Grossmont Bank, later renamed California Bank and Trust. He also currently serves on the board of directors of Huntington Capital and Ken Blanchard Companies. Congratulations to our Lifetime Achievement honoree, Pat Hyman. Now I'd like to ask Rafael Pastor, Chairman of the Board and CEO of Vistage International again, to say a few words regarding Pat Hyman. Rafael?
I just wish with Pat that in the last few months I fucked him more often than I fucked my wife. Which tells you something. Mostly it tells you that I love this man. And anyone who has had the singular privilege of spending time with Pat cannot help but love this guy. He is that rare thing. He is both a great man and a great guy, and there's a distinction there. He really is special. And, you know, we have in the Vistage community about 650 chairs around the world. Pat is one of them. And we measure everything about our chairs. And unfailingly, month after month, Pat is at the top of the charts in terms of being a chair. He just is. He's great at this. But that's not what makes him special. There are 2 things about Pat that are very basic that I think make him so extraordinary. One is how he thinks. Pat always thinks fresh, positive, and fast. He's very quick. He's always there on the positive side of things. And he's always got the brightest new, forward-looking ideas. I had lunch with him a couple of weeks ago, and he says to me, you know, sometimes I'm driving down the highway, I'm in that lane next to the fast lane, and I see a guy whizzing past me in the fast lane. I wonder, why aren't we in the fast lane? And why isn't our business in the fast lane? We all have to be in the fast lane. This is how this guy thinks. But even greater than how he thinks, and I think this is the essence of the guy, is how he cares. This guy cares deeply and authentically about everything that he touches, the people that he touches, the causes that he espouses. He just cares. And as a result, he has been, more than most people I know, an extraordinary force for change. He has been a force for change in businesses, including Vistage, formerly TEC. He has been a force for change in this community of San Diego. And most especially, he has been a force for change in the lives and businesses of the many, many countless companies and individuals that he has touched. Pat Hyman is one of a kind, a great man, and a great guy. Pat, you want to say something else?
Oh boy, oh boy. Thank you very much. This award is fantastic. and I appreciate it from the sponsors to have included me in this. I'm humbled to be here in this room full of CEOs who deserve this award far more than I. But I accept it. In the words of our esteemed leader, I don't deserve it, but I accept it. And any money that's given to me will be donated to charity, even if it's $1.4 million. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, I'd like to express my gratitude, particularly to the Vistage Company, because when I was 70 years old, I started my 5th career as a chair with Vistage. And it has meant more to me than I can tell you. And I look around the audience and see my members out here, and I just want to tell you how very much you mean to me and what you've done to enrich my life and bring the sort of reward and satisfaction that very few people have. Thank you very much. Now, my sponsors have asked me to drop a word of wisdom, and I'm going to do it. The word is, no act of kindness is ever wasted. And I'm going to tell you a little story about that. A friend of my wife's helped me get through this without breaking down. It's a good story. A friend of my wife's said that she, living here in San Diego, had gone to a series of high school reunions. And at every one, the name of this certain teacher came up about how much she had meant, what she contributed to their lives, and how pleased they were to have had her as a teacher. So coming home after one of those meetings, she said, I'm going to see if this lady is still alive, and I'm going to get in touch with her and tell her what is being said about her. So she did. She found her in a rest home in Michigan somewhere, wrote her, got a letter back immediately, and the letter said, my dear, you will never know how much this letter means to me. She said, I've never married, so I have no children, so you students have been my children, and I live on what I hear about you and what you're doing. Now, I must tell you, I have never received a letter like this in my life, and I will read it with joy every day the rest of my life. Can you imagine how much pleasure that simple act of kindness meant to that woman? And as I look around the room, I know that some of you are saying to yourselves, yes, I remember that coach, I remember that teacher, I remember that scout leader, I remember that family member, and so on. Well, I'm going to challenge you to do me the favor. Get in touch with that person before the sun sets on Thanksgiving Day and let them know how very much they meant to you. Will you do that? Raise your hands if you will. Let's do it. Bless you all. And thanks so very much to our sponsors for this beautiful evening.
Thank you, Pat. That was really lovely. Thank you very much. Congratulations again. That was a wonderful reminder of this season of Thanksgiving, and I saw all those hands raised, so we expect a lot of thank yous to come out here very shortly.